I know it's only been a week there since you guys get going, and a little bit of work before that. We know the dimensions moved in center. Can you kind of tell it all how it's going to play in the middle of the field, and assuming it does play more favorably, what that could do to guys to feel more confident to use the whole field?
It's kind of hard to tell. Honestly, I mean, in BP, guys are shooting balls out of here, but there have been a few where guys will say that doesn't go last year because it's 12 feet, barely gets out in that spot where they know they brought it in. Not the fact that it's, easier. It's still a pretty good shot out there. You got to hit that. You still got to hit it out there. I don't think you're seeing a big job. I've seen guys crush some balls that don't go. So you got to get it good. You don't just pop it up. It's not like, I don't want to, like Philly or somewhere where sometimes you hit balls, you can tell guys don't get them and they go out. This is a little different. You still got to hit it.
But do you think that guys in years past have maybe, obviously you can hit with your approach, but if you don't feel you're being rewarded, you might tend to develop some bad habits. You think that we may see less of that?
Yeah, well, I think that is one thing that, and really you should do, right? I mean, if you're playing a huge ballpark and you're a guy that doesn't hit the ball at the ballpark, it's probably not very good to be hitting fly balls, right? I mean, they want us to hit fly balls now, and you're in a big ballpark and you're not a guy that's getting rewarded for that. You should probably not try to hit fly balls really quite as much. So I think it can change guys because they know if they crush one, but in general you shouldn't, right? You should just get a good pitch. You're trying to crush every ball or hit every ball hard with a game plan. Stay with that, and you can't really direct if it's in the air or if you hit it 410 or 425.
Thanks.
Donnie, the question from Jordan is, what are you hoping to see from the team today as you move towards scrimmages and game type activities?
Not a whole lot different. It's just more that you're putting a group of players together. Like we'll put a group of infielders on the field together today, and there'll be some base running, right? So it's part of our plan to kind of just keep moving forward, getting the game speed, doing more. We've started off doing less with game speed. Now we want the game speed with more things going on, more things for the pitcher to deal with, more things, now the infielder's starting to react to it. That they could actually turn a double play or throw a ball across the infield. So just continue to get more game situation. As we get our legs underneath us, then we'll actually be able to play like kind of more of a game. But the game limits you to number at bats. Right? This way, these guys are going to hit for inning and a half or 2 innings or 3 innings, right? But the game limits you to going through 9 guys, get back to the hitter. It's just like we want to be able to get more reps in accomplishing the same thing.
Next up is Steve Wine.
There we go. Donnie,
you're always in the dark.
You look just like Marty. I got to point it this way because my wife doesn't want to be walking behind me, she says. You look just like Marty Stewart with that thing on. You know him, the country singer?
Yeah.
Yeah. He
yeah.
Something like that going. Hey, Coop was talking about trying to cure himself of the spitting habit. I'm sure that's going around a lot. If you see a guy doing that in practice, do you say something to him?
Yeah, I guess you would. I haven't noticed anyone.
Okay.
Even for myself, I think it makes it easier that pretty much wearing a mask, so you don't think about doing it. So yeah, we would. It's like anything really. You try to train yourself to mention it, to grabbing the cage, to hey, you've got to put your mask back on or mask back up, not too close, things like that. You're always kind of catching yourself, and you'd be surprised how quickly you kind of instantly kind of make the adjustments as far as not sitting too close, or as you talking with the group, we're all kind of talking in the circles a little bigger than it would have been. So I think you make that adjustment as you're going through it every day.
So you're saying you're not having to do, or you're not doing much of that kind of thing. Hey,
not a whole lot out there. I'm not seeing a lot, right? You're not seeing a lot of it because, I think again, back to our scheduling, you're scheduling the groups the way you do, so they are distance. Probably going to be a little different when you start getting everybody here together.
All righty, we turn to Jess from Fox Sports Florida.
Hey, Donnie. Hey, Garrett was also telling us about he's down, 15 pounds or so. He feels more agile. His legs are doing a better job recovering. I know Jorge Alfaro also lost about 15 pounds during the off season. When guys work hard to kind of change their bodies like that, be it add muscle or slim down, whatever the purpose may be, where do you feel like that has the most significant impact out on the field?
And guys, you can tell when they've taken care of their bodies, and especially when a guy gets leaner. If a guy's too thick, then you don't see the body work the way it really should in baseball. It's kind of a little. I mean, some guys hit with that bigger, strong, but when those NFL linemen come in and hang out in camp and try to hit, it doesn't look that great, right? Because you gotta have the flex, and it's got to be like a whip, and so you want your body to move, agile. And so I think when you see guys in that kind of shape, that obviously they did work, which tells you a lot that they're in good shape and they've been taking care of themselves. But I think the body moves better in a leaner look in baseball than it does that thicker, overly strong. Some guys, it works for them, but for the most part, it seems like leaner works better.
All righty, we turn to Minervini.
Hi, Skip. I got a question on your ball club in terms of where you are now and your roster. Do you have it set where your numbers are going to be? And what is the number for day? Is it 28 or 30? I'm not sure the exact number in terms of pitchers and players. Yeah,
we'll probably be close 16, 14, 17, 13 to start off with the 30. So we haven't came to that number. It depends, how guys are doing as we get there. So for the 30, we kind of know the number of pitchers. We don't, there's a few decisions to be made, but we're kind of knowing pretty good idea where we want to go with that.
How many position battles in terms of your players do you see there? You're probably on paper locked in X amount, and then maybe there's X amount of guys going for 3 spots, 4 spots in a general sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of know most of the spots, but it's like, how are we going to use all our guys, right? And what do you do when Jonathan's playing second, or Jonathan's playing short, or Jonathan's DH, and who's the center fielder at that point? You know what I mean? So like when you're moving your pieces, who are those, kind of specialty pieces? You kind of know that, where Corey's going to be. Where Andy's going to be. Where Miggy's going to be. So I think that peripheral 2-3 guys is where you're trying to figure out exactly what your lineup looks like, right-handed, left-handed, that type of thing. Who are you going to have? You're going to have a speed guy at the end of the game, or you're going to have a defensive guy at the end of the game for certain spots. And so you're trying to figure all that out with your numbers.
And one more question. In the 10th inning, the guy on second base, is he the last out from the previous inning? Or is it,
I think it is. I'm pretty sure that's what it
right?
is. Yeah, I haven't did the minor league thing before, but I'm pretty sure it's the guy who made the last out. And so that's where you get into a point. If that's not speed, do you use a
pinch
guy?
Run for him?
You can pinch run for him. Right.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, next up is Brendan Tobin.
New Year's managing, how do you know when a guy's going through early struggles of something, or it seems like it's going to go longer? And do you think that's going to change this year as far as you having a quick hook on guys, whether they're struggling because there's going to be more urgency with less games?
Well, I think a lot of times you like through the eye, right? And then you listen to your people upstairs, you can see if a guy's having good at bats, right? Compared to lost, right? When they aren't competitive, he's getting abused. It's day in, day out, and you're not getting good swings off. You're not getting good takes. When a guy's usually, close, he's probably squaring the ball up, not getting any hits, or you can see that he's seeing the ball good. He's not jumping out there, and that's going to work into starting to have some success. The guy that's not having good at bats, doesn't look close, those are the ones you're going to have to make calls on. And depending on who they are, you may have to make them quicker. I mean, if it's Corey Dickerson struggling for 2 or 3 games, he's going to hit. So you got to hang in there and let that happen, right? But another guy that's, in a different situation that don't have quite the track record like somebody like Corey or Jonathan, and you got to be a little more, I think you're going to have to be a little more preemptive and be more aggressive.
All righty, Craig Mish.
Hey, Donnie, just kind of curious, as a player and a manager all these years, do you think that you guys need to play against anyone before all this gets started? Or is it just enough to play the kids in Jupiter? And as a follow-up, maybe if there is some sort of plan for that next week or the week after. I mean, who better to speak to than you about that?
Well, I think for sure you would like to be able to put some games together, right? And I know we're talking about it. I'm not sure if it's been finalized 100%, but we're definitely trying to put a couple games together before this thing ends. So to your point, 100% better to be playing against somebody and playing some games where you really don't. Guys don't want to do what they're supposed to, like pitching's not like going to blast one in there when it really should be a pitch that has to be in there against one of the guys that they may, because it might get away, right? And not on purpose, but hit one of your own guys. So definitely better to be able to play. We'd like to be able to play a couple games against somebody else.
Is that most likely to happen like right before the season, or is it possible next week to do something?
I think it would be later. We'd be more prepared for it later for for a 9-inning type game. So for me, it's probably better, right? Moving into that opening day, close to that as you can, to be the best place to play those.
Thank you.
All right, just a few more questions here, Skip. We'll turn to Scott from the South Florida Tribune.
Hi, Don. I got a couple of questions. I want to go on what Craig said for a moment. One of my co-hosts asked me, just say hypothetically you get to the 10th inning and you have a perfect game going, okay? Is that perfect game nullified because of the runner in extra innings? Have you heard anything about that?
That's a great question. I'm not sure.
I know, that's why I got presented. I didn't know how to answer it.
I know if you pitched in the 10th, like in a regular game, right? And then you end up giving up a hit, it would no longer be or walked a guy, it wouldn't be a perfect game.
Right.
But that's a great question because of the runner.
Right.
I would think it would be, right? So I would think, I'm going to go off the top of my head, but I'm thinking it still would be. Let's say that guy gets 3 outs. The runner obviously could advance, but I mean, punch out, ground ball, punch out. He allows no runners to reach base on his own. I think that would be a perfect game.
Yeah, but that's the thing. How do you take away a perfect game from a guy because of a glitch in the rules because of this so-called experimental year? I don't understand that at all.
I think you would give it to him. I think it would be a perfect.
Would.
I think it would be. I think it should be.
Right. Well, that's okay. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, but I don't get to make that decision. But common sense says that's a perfect game.
Yeah, I'm going to get.
Didn't allow a runner. You didn't allow a hit. It's a perfect game.
Beautiful. And one other thing,
I know it's perfect if it's our guy that does it.
Well, you've had a few in your history anyway, so it doesn't matter. And one other thing that I wanted to bring up. I know the numbers in South Florida are alarming with the cases going up. Do you often think about that during the course of your preparation? Because, everybody around the area, this is a hot spot. And we all know that we have to be safe from our own standpoint. But how do you feel as a manager representing the organization about the area for which you live in?
Yeah, I think, flying in was different, right? Because you usually wouldn't probably fly into a spot that was, spiking or whatever. So that was different. I think you pay attention to it from the standpoint is at the end of the night, you turn on the news, you see what's going on and, see what's happening just watching the news, right? And so you can't miss it. right now. So, but I do think, from that standpoint as an organization, number one, we're going to try to keep our guys understanding it, pay attention, respect the virus, respect people around you, teammates, all that. We've talked about it. So that definitely will go on. But I think even a step further as an organization, I think your guys following that, not being out in public without the mask and not hanging out or whatever, and then speaking freely about it, hopefully with, what they think about it is some sort of, or the talking about it.
Well, talking about it in the cases, the numbers don't lie, so to speak.
Right. Yeah, guys know what's going on. Yeah, you can trust that. They know what's going on. And that's what I'm saying. Hopefully our organization and our guys are going to be leaders in doing the right thing, right? And hopefully other people follow that. I think we've seen it all over the country. You follow the guidelines and stuff and it comes down, right? And obviously sometimes it's going to go up just because you're testing, 10 times, you're testing 10 times more people, you're going to get more test positive. But obviously the curve thing with doing the right thing is really the most important thing.
All right, we go to Peter Pratt.
Yeah, hey Donnie. Just wanted to get your take on the schedule, actually, in terms of what you like about it, if there's a lot, but equally, what's I guess how excited are you to finish up the season, the regular season at Yankee Stadium, potentially with the postseason on the line?
Yeah, so I like the schedule mostly because there's games on it, right? We have one, which is kind of nice, and you know what? It'd be great to be in Yankee Stadium with the playoff spot on the line, or it'd really even be better if we've clinched one before that last series. But obviously, if we're in that position, we're going to be excited about that opportunity, and so I think it would be great to be able to be there in Yankee Stadium with our club. Obviously, have played pretty well and given ourselves an opportunity to be in the postseason after what we've been through over the last couple seasons.
Thank you.
All right, last question goes to none other than Craig Minervini.
Hey, Skip, just talking about what you were mentioning with the virus. Will you have proximity to your staff? I mean, you have to text, where you be next to each other. You usually, in the years past, of course, you're almost shoulder to shoulder with your bench coach, pitching coach. How have you worked out that yet?
We have not worked out the exact positioning, but we know that, you're supposed to be distanced. There's only so many people in the dugout. We got to figure out exactly how that rhythm works. But you're right. But, you can have conversations. Even, when Wally was here, usually he was back here, and if something was going on and we were talking,
yeah,
in some way, shape, or form. Trey's over here on the defensive side of it, and you're kind of talking. You're talking Mel as that goes. Everything's going down. You're talking within a proximity, right, all the time. You don't need to be, hiding it
right next to each other.
Yeah. We can. I think that part is not really. It's more of the habit of staying away, right? That will be more concerned than about actually, getting in the way of not being able to do our jobs.